All You Can Lead is a channel about leadership and self-development topics.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We have a guest today. We're super excited to have Michael on the show. Michael, do you want to say a few words to the audience?
Sure. Hey everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Michael, born and raised in California. I care a lot about the people space, so I actually spent almost the last 10 years with Google and Waymo working in HR related roles. And now I'm studying at Stanford GSB, doing an MSx program for more experienced working professionals.
Why don't I start with talking about my personal experience taking Touchy Feely. So Touchy Feely is a class that focuses a lot on vulnerability, feelings, and communication on the topic specifically regarding interpersonal dynamics. The format of the class is extremely unique. You probably haven't seen anything like that anywhere else. So basically the setup is they form a group of 12 students and 2 facilitators. So 14 people sit in the room with no agenda set, no topics. In the first class, we just sit in silent, right? And the facilitator will basically say, let's begin. And then we were just like, freeze there. We don't know what to do because we never had a meeting with no agenda. And we were there and supposed to talk for, I remember it was about 4 hours straight on the first day. And we have to do that every week for 10 weeks. Over time, we kind of learn what to talk about with regards to sharing your own feelings, giving feedback to each other, being really open to sharing your childhood stories or how you feel deep inside, and really get bonded as part of this experience. Michael, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience as a facilitator for this class?
Yeah, sure. Well, as a facilitator, that first couple sessions, as you described, is very much the same as a facilitator going in and maybe feeling, more calm, but also like this is a new group, and so just being there to see what it's like, how the group is going to come together, and having trust that after 10 weeks that people will really get to know each other. I think that what makes this class actually really interesting is for that 10 weeks, everyone's encouraged in this place to share some of those things that you might not typically hear, and that helps you both get more sensitive about how you might be feeling and thinking about others, but you also get to hear how others might be thinking and feeling about different interactions about you, and from that you really gain a lot of perspective. And so I think that's really what makes it pretty unique and special from my experience.
We're going to talk more about this class, but if you're interested, we're going to put a link of a continuing study course at Stanford that everyone can sign up. You don't need to be a current student or alumni of Stanford, and just check it out. Michael just said something very interesting about sharing something that you would normally not feel comfortable sharing in the workplace or even at home, right? So this class gives a lot of opportunity for you to be very open and be very vulnerable. I found vulnerability is a very powerful tool to demonstrate authentic leadership.
So when people think of vulnerability, I think maybe some folks will feel, well, how is it a strength to show vulnerability? Doesn't that sound kind of like a paradox? And recently we've heard more that it's important to be authentic and to share kind of how you feel. And so where vulnerability kind of plays into some of this is really vulnerability helps you not only develop your own self-awareness, but it helps build trust and connection. I'll share an example from my experience. So back in 2021, there was kind of a period where there was a lot of anti-Asian racism. At the time at Waymo, I was a part of the employee resource group, and I remember that I was feeling hesitant about speaking up about these topics, and I had some fears myself. And in fact, over the pandemic, there's been moments where the kind of anti-Asian incidents have happened, and I kind of didn't speak up. And so I've had a lot of pent-up insecurity, discomfort about raising this. But then when it came to March and there was really kind of a bigger spike in some of these situations, I actually spoke at the company all hands around this, and I spoke to my insecurity about even raising it, and having having that be a part of my identity, in the workplace and not wanting to speak up, but then now bringing the courage to wanting to raise awareness, that actually, because I expressed it in a vulnerable but authentic way, we saw a lot of people actually get more involved and want to raise awareness around this. And so our membership at the time, we regrew it by 10x after I spoke at this all hands.
Wow.
And completely unexpected. And that for me personally was a big lesson of how do you bring that vulnerability in a way that could show up authentically and help kind of move things forward that you care about.
Even though people thought that vulnerability is a taboo in the workplace, but everyone is dying for it. Everyone wants to be authentic. They want to bring their whole self to work. So that's a perfect segue into our second topic, feelings.
I would say from a kind of range and breadth perspective, I heard a story of actually a friend that was sharing with me when he was developing some awareness around his feelings. Oftentimes the word that came up for him was good. So when people asked him, how do you feel? It's like, I feel good. And then, but that good would have different tones, right? Oh, I feel good, or I feel good, or I feel good, but the only word he had was good for all of those. And I think over time, I realized that for me, I have a version of that for certain feelings, right? Where I don't even have a name for what that feeling is. And so what helped me was even having this sheet of what are all the different feelings that one can have. And when I have a feeling and I'm not sure what exactly it is, and maybe in my head it's fine, or one particular word, but then I could look at this sheet and say, oh, okay, actually maybe I'm feeling not just sad, but I'm actually feeling a little dejected, or maybe I'm not just feeling happy, I'm feeling very excited. So there's different a range of different feelings, and if you want to expand that range, having a sheet, if you look it up, feelings sheet, that's one way to do that. And then in terms of going deep, sometimes I find that if I'm a situation that I had an unexpected feeling or an unexpectedly strong feeling about something, I find that those are really good opportunities to just maybe grab a journal and write about it, or find a friend and kind of be able to just digest that experience a little bit more. I found that was really helpful in better understanding what is behind the feeling, why do I have such strong feelings for those situations. But I'd say as long as you just keep that in mind and start with what are the range of feelings you might be having, and then going deep, you'll start to feel out those different flavors and be able to speak to those.
It's perfectly normal that you don't know how you're feeling. A lot of people can identify their feelings. If you can't do that, that's totally fine, because I have a lot of classmates that couldn't do that when we were in the class. And then secondly, learn the vocabulary of feelings. And I'll put a link later in the descriptions about the feeling sheet. I was also very surprised when I look at 100 different vocabularies of feeling as part of this class, and how rich your feeling can be. The third lesson I've learned from Touchy Feely is about conflict resolution. We have a very powerful term called crossing the net. Michael, do you want to explain to the audience what crossing the net means?
The idea here is to try to really figure out, when you're going into a situation, what is the things on my end, and then what's on their end. Imagine there's this invisible net between you all. If I say certain things, if they're within my side of this net, then I could say it in a way that has a higher chance of it feeling just true to me without triggering the other person. So, for example, if someone's running late and I wanted to talk to this person about that, then if I said, you're always running late and I'm upset with you for being a late running person, that's starting to cross into their side. I'm making attributions about them. But if instead I just reframe it to staying within my side. So, we talked about showing up at 10, you were here at 10:30, and I'm feeling kind of upset about that. And so, I'm describing that experience from what I have come to understood and kind of how I'm feeling about it. And so it's within the realm of my space. And so when you go and talk with someone about something that might feel like a conflict, if you just use the terms and describe the experiences on your side, that has a higher chance of then allowing them to describe kind of what might be on their side, and just kind of then finding ways to work through that. I found that like a powerful way to enter a conflict without making it more complicated by adding things that might trigger them or have that kind of impact.
All right, thank you so much for watching this video today. So in the next video, Michael and I are going to talk about demystifying the secrets in people management. Stay tuned.
Thank you all for watching this video. I'll see you very